gust of wind buffets the snow from the top of the Bone Spar Mountains, sending it violently into the open sky. The land of Gilead is still desolate, still cold and uninviting. But something has changed. Something recent. A foreign and all but forgotten warmth has taken to the air, pervading not only the land, but its forlorn inhabitants. The thick gray blanket, perpetually sprawled across the wintry sky, has finally been drawn away. In its absence, casting a sparkling array of color across the falling snow, is the ever-present but only recently unobscured celestial wonder, the sun. The tumbling flakes, haphazardly swept to and fro by the commanding winds, descends into a bustling town, before being crushed into the melting snow and mud by a quick-moving boot of a man on a mission. Purpose, his dwarven form lumbers to the half-orc visitor. Her roguish visage and dull blue hair would have provoked a raised eyebrow in other parts of the world. But not here. Aye, lass. Welcome to Thane's Stand. I take it here on account of the festival. I'm terrible at accents.
That was good.
It's all downhill from here.
That's right, I am.
Alright, well, it's certainly smart of you to arrive early. Expecting me to be bursting at the seams this time tomorrow. Name's Kieran. Father's name was also Kieran, and his father before him. Traditionalists we are, and you see he kind of fumbles around in his like oversized thick coat that he's wearing. He pulls out a journal and a quill, and then he thumbs to a particular page. We have to keep track of everyone coming and going, lass. I'm sure you understand.
Yes, I do.
And what's your name?
Atixia.
Tixia. You have a last name? He shuffles around on his feet, like, kind of uncomfortably.
Atixia Lochville-Wren.
Hi, it's a beautiful name, lass. And you see he quickly jots it down in his notebook. So, we still have some rooms available at the inn, but they are going pretty fast. We'll spare you having to stay in a tent like the rest of them if you get a room in time. And you see he kind of points back at the town behind him. In the back corner, you can see this inn. It's surrounded by some tents and some other more brightly colored, like, tents that are being pitched in the center town. The tents in the center of the town, they're more like off the backs of wagons. But that's not what catches your attention. And I want you to roll me, grab a d20 dice, and you're going to roll me a perception check.
Can I tell you when I roll?
Yes. So you rolled a 3 plus 1? You essentially get tunnel vision walking into this town. There's a lot going on. It's a little bit overwhelming, especially for someone who's just been out on the essentially like the icy plains for as long as you've been. So basically you just see this inn, and then everything else around it is just white noise. He's telling you you're going to have to get a room. You can rent a tent out if that's what you want to do, but there are still rooms available. They're a lot more comfortable than the tents.
Don't I already have a tent?
You technically have a bedroll and some things, but it's kind of like, imagine you're going to a music festival and there's only so many spots available.
Yeah, my trusty steed.
I want to walk around and scope out the area.
Okay, you enter into the town. You see, like, the roadway that you had entered in on kind of splits up into 3 separate ways. Directly ahead of you, it cuts through, like, a series of covered wagons and some colorful tents that are currently still being set up. On the right-hand side is a patch of some more tents. These ones look a little bit more structured, kind of regimented. And then on the left-hand side, you see just a handful of buildings. You're not really sure what they are or anything.
I want to go look at the buildings.
Okay. So you go ahead and make a left. You go down that path. Roll me an investigation check.
Investigation, 2 plus 2.
You continue toward the houses, and as you're going, it's a very small town, but you kind of get a little bit turned around, surprisingly. And now you don't really know where the inn is, and either one of the buildings ahead of you could potentially be the inn. Or the building behind you, because there was one up kind of in the back right corner. So now you have a bunch of separate buildings. Either one could be the one that you could get a room at, but you're not really sure which one is which. They all kind of look very... You can do a tent, or you could sleep out anywhere you want to. It's honestly your choice.
Well, what time is it?
It's still pretty early in the day. We're going to say maybe around 1 or 2 p.m. Sun is just past the highest point in the sky.
Well, I don't really need to decide yet, do I?
No, not if you don't want to.
Okay.
It's your life.
I see someone to my right, and I go up to them and I ask them to tell me where things are in the town.
So you look over to the right. You do indeed see a handful of people over there. They're the ones that are currently setting up the wagons, kind of like in the interior of this town. You walk over to them, and this kind of like sand-scorched looking gentleman looks at you. He has like darker skin. He doesn't really look like anyone that you've ever seen before. And he looks over at you and says, "Hello, my friend. What can I do for you?"
I'm new to the town, and I was wondering, where's the tavern?
They give you a wide smile and kind of gesture back at the larger building in the back right corner. And they say, "Well, before you go, if you'd be so inclined, I have plenty of wares. I sell just about anything that you might be interested in."
What do you got?
Oh, that depends. You look like you've been on the road for a while. I'm going back in Irish for some reason. Different kinds of clothing, some spices if you're into that kind of stuff, some fancy hats.
What kind of hats do you have?
So he clears his throat and kind of gestures back over to where his wagon is still being constructed, and he says, "I'm still setting up, but I'm willing to make a concession for you, my friend." And he kind of roots around in essentially a pile of different clothing, different coats, scarves, shirts, and he pulls out like a couple hats. One is quite beautiful, actually. It's like almost all the colors of the rainbow with two feathers sticking out either end. Pulls out another one that's like a stove top, like Abe Lincoln kind of hat. And then there's like a Viking hat, like a aviator's hat. Pretty wide range of things, actually.
You know what? I don't like any of those hats. Do you have any fancy necklaces I could look at?
I'm sorry, you'd have to go to the jeweler to see that kind of stuff, but I do have some spices, like I said, if maybe you'd be interested in spices.
Well, I do really enjoy cooking over the fire. What kind of spices do you
No,
have?
my friend. The spices I'm talking about are a little different.
Oh, no thank you. I'm a Jehovah's Witness.
Is that your religion in the game?
He furrows his brow a little bit, kind of confused, and shakes his head, goes back to whatever he's doing.
So I'm gonna head to the tavern.
Okay. As the half-orc reaches the threshold of the building and pulls the wooden door open, a second wanderer enters Thane's stand. The dwarven Walmart greeter, quill and journal still in hand, rushes to introduce himself to the fey-touched ranger, entering through the town gate. "Hi, laddie. What brings you into our town? You here because of the festival?"
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'm writing everyone's names here down in my journal. Do you mind if I get yours?
My name is Cypher Archard.
Archard.
Yes.
Hey, you seem you were born for that name. I see the bow on your back.
Yes.
All right. Well, it seems like our inn is definitely filling up. Only have a couple rooms left, so if you're interested in getting a room while they're still hot, I'd recommend heading that direction.
I will head in that direction.
Okay. Same as her when you enter into this town. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
So 6 plus 5.
Yeah, so...
10, 11. All right. You actually get to see some shit. So you do essentially see the same things that Matixia had picked up. So you see like these well-regimented tents right off on your right-hand side, more tents and wagons kind of setting up right in the center of town. Behind that, in the back right corner, is where the inn that he had pointed out was. To your left is 2 buildings, and in the far left, which you did not pick up on, it's weird that you missed it, but you see this large tower, this tall tower, rising 150 feet into the sky. You look, starting at its base, and look all the way up to where the tip is. And at the tip, you see this bright burning light that almost matches the glow of the sun itself. And this tower seems to be sitting on this little mound, like a little hill kind of deal. And you can gather the impression that this is maybe what makes this town so special. Whatever is in this tower, whatever is causing this bright light to burn, that's what draws the people in.
Okay.
That's what makes this into this kind of site.
So,
So you see all of those things.
as a nomad, I love to learn. As a sage, I'm gonna explore that light.
Okay. So you go off to your left-hand side, Again, you're walking past all of the wagons and things, and as you're walking around them, you feel this hand grab hold of your wrist. And not tightly, just... It's kind of an odd thing, because you weren't expecting it, and it takes you back. And you look over, and you see another elf. It looks like he was another one of these merchants, like the way that he's dressed up. He's kind of wearing... It's like a bunch of thinner robes, but they're all layered on top of one another, as if like he was still cold, so he kept adding more and more layers. And, I mean, you could see, like, with the ears and everything, I mean, he is an elf. And, he looks over at you and he says, just with this really creepy, deadpan expression, is there anything I can get you today?
I say no.
Drug dealers in this town.
It's so nice to see another one of my kind here.
I shrug him off my wrist. Get off of me.
I see you've been out there in the wilderness for a while, it looks like.
I
Can
have.
I interest you in any of my jewelry? Any of my wares? Necklaces, bracelets, brooches?
No, thank you.
Okay, roaches or brooches?
Brooches,
Okay.
not roaches.
Okay.
The roaches are
I got
these.
it. I got it pulled up.
If you need anything else, just let me know.
What's your name?
Phil.
Phil. Phil the elf.
Yeah.
You're not expecting that.
Phil the elf.
Do me an insight check. Eventually.
17. Plus,
17.
Plus 5.
So, you notice a couple things as he kind of pulls away from you. He has this tattoo on his neck. And it's one that you're familiar with because it's one from the town, the kingdom that you grew up in. And essentially this mark, this tattoo, it marks the individual as being exiled for one reason or another. They were kicked out of the town, they were sent away. It could be a wide range of things, but this individual just... Like you, in a way, he was not meant for that place. Shrinks back to his card, and you see like he's kind of fumbling around some of his wares, but he's mostly just watching you as you continue on toward this tower.
Can I ask him, does he want to tag along?
Tag along where? It's a small place.
I want to investigate where that light is coming from. Do you want to come with me?
He points up.
Yes.
That light.
That light.
Well, that's why we're all here.
He's a hippie.
No, that's what this whole festival's all about, man.
He's a hippie.
That's what all this is about.
You got before?
Up there, that's the gauntlet. Balcazar Thane. That's his.
I'm gonna go investigate.
They're not gonna let you up there.
Jazz.
They have guards at that tower. They're there all the time.
I point at my bow and tell him I'm pretty skilled at this.
You're gonna kill the guards
If I have to.
just to get up in the tower
Yes.
to see the gauntlet,
Yes.
and then do what?
See what that gauntlet is.
All right. Well, man, you do your thing. I'm not coming with you.
Okay.
He, as you start walking away, he immediately goes to the closest group of guards.
What a snitch!
You don't see this, though, because you're just continuing on toward this tower. You approach it, and you see, like he had said, 2 guards. They are clad in these black robes. You can tell that there's some shapes underneath the robes where the armor is, and in the center of the robes that they're wearing is an eye with flames coming out of it.
Okay. Can I use Misty Steps?
Okay. What would you like to do exactly?
I would like to use a Misty Steps to get by them stealthily.
So they are standing right. So imagine like here's the front room, here's the tower, here's the door. They are standing on either end of that door, right against the wall.
And I can't climb like a wall?
You can attempt to, if you like. Yeah, you can certainly
got
try.
acrobatics or climbing or something.
They will see you.
Athletics.
The way this town is situated, and you would have known this approaching it. There's essentially this large field that goes on. It stretches on for miles before you get to this town. Behind it is some hills leading into some mountain land, But outside of this tower and the mountains, kind of a couple miles back, there's no other elevation. So everyone in the town would see you attempting to climb this tower. You would know this because you...
What if I just turn back around now?
Sure. So you turn back around and you see where the guards are still talking. Like, you see them now, but the guard is talking to this shopkeeper, and they kind of look at you walking back. They look at him. They look back at you, back at him. They just shake their head and start walking away.
Walking away.
There's still 2 guards at the tower,
At
but
the
these
tower,
are the other guards that he was speaking to.
Can I approach the other elf and ask him, why are we talking to the guards?
My friend, you said that you were going to break into the tower of Balcazar Thane. I can't allow that. Surely you understand.
You and I are both exiled from our kingdom. We should have some type of connection. Why would you do that?
He looks at you. I don't see the tattoo on your neck. You're saying you're exiled.
I say yes.
For what?
0 grams of fat.
Not taking the heir to the throne.
0 milligrams of sodium.
But mine's good.
You're the heir of Arcadial.
This is good.
I don't like seltzer.
Do you have any rings? Anything to prove your heritage?
I'll just drink all
There's
12
the
of my
family
life.
heirloom. Everyone in the family
I
wears
have
them.
beer.
I don't see any on your
I
hands.
could, but
I took it off.
Brother, are you lying to me?
I took it off to be a nomad.
And is that what you do as a nomad?
try to sell
Break into these places?
Mine's a little
I like
warm,
to
sir.
<laughs>
learn,
There's a lot of ways to learn, my friend.
and that's one of them.
Okay.
There's better ways.
Not even tears though.
The end of that interaction. I want to move over to these guys just quickly.
All right, awesome.
You can pick back up here if you want to.
Okay.
Very, very briefly,
Oh, 500.
we're jumping back to Metaxia.
Tixia.
It's pronounced how it's spelled.
Metaxia.
Matixia.
Metaxia. I like it.
You enter into this inn, and almost immediately you are met with a collection of almost overwhelming smells. Smoked meats, mead, and pastries. The large room that you're entering into is full of various tables and chairs. There's people in some of them, but for the most part, the shared space is mostly empty at this time of the day. Like I said, it's like 2 p.m. Candles illuminate the edges of the room from strategic places along the walls, and there's bits of melted wax that fall along them and drip onto the floor below. There's a bard off to the right, occasionally plucking at their loot. They're not playing anything, but they're just kind of sitting there. Across the room, over top the flickering fire of the center hearth, you catch sight of the innmaster leaning across the bar and speaking to a large figure seated on a stool on the other side. His back is to you, but even from this distance, you recognize how large it is. This back belongs to a Goliath. And over the crackling of the fire, you pick up bits of the conversation. And we're gonna switch perspectives to Thalmer. You said you were traveling for how long?
Years.
Oh, Moradin be praised. Years, that's a long time to be alone. It gets lonely here, but at least I have me brother and wife. What's the craziest thing you've seen out there?
Everyone has the same accent.
They're dwarves!
It's actually the same guy.
Well, I've cataloged a few animals and seen a few different beautiful, like, water sources. But the weirdest thing? Probably an oliphant.
An Oliphant.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez. What, never seen one of those before.
they're massive.
You fight it.
I did not. Those things could crush me.
So you fancy yourself a pretty strong man then?
Fairly strong.
Throws his arm up on the table of the bar. Why don't you prove it?
Let's go.
Go ahead and roll me a strength check. Contested strength roll.
So D20 plus what?
You're fucked either way. This one's mine. Yeah, D20. Plus your strength modifier.
A strength modifier.
Said you're fucked
It's
anyways.
gonna be in your skills, I think.
I got a 3.
A 3? Immediately, he just, boom, slaps it onto the bar. It stings, and you kind of recoil back. You're a Goliath, but you just got your ass whooped by a dwarf. And he kind of smiles, puffs himself up a little bit, because, you
You
know.
work the forges?
No,
No?
just this bar.
Oh,
Is there anything else I can get you? I'll give you something for free, since
another beer for me.
I got some ale for you.
There we go.
Good job. Here.
He grabs you some ale.
I don't see you, so I'm just hanging at the bar.
Alright, I'm going to sit at the bar. Can I have a pint of ale, please?
Absolutely. He's gonna say that's gonna be 10 copper pieces.
Sure, here you go.
Subtract it from your.
Yep, subtract it from your copper.
Alright.
So, you get your pint.
I'll just make a note of it. That's none of your business. Drink my ale, and then I turn to this guy whose name I don't know yet.
Dahmer.
Are you saying Dahmer?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Thomir.
Filmier.
What the fuck? That's different than what I was saying.
You just added another, like, syllable.
Thomur. Thomir. I brush her to the side.
You just ignore her.
Yes. She's an orc.
Excuse me, I just saw your ass get whooped by a...
Ooh.
You really think you can be rude to me right now? I will cut you.
Connor, I want you to roll a d4 quickly.
D4.
Yep.
I got a 4.
You take 4 points of psychological damage.
What's your name, buddy?
Puppy?
That's not what you said. Thomir. What's it to you?
He's making conversation. No need to get hostile. I'm just trying to enjoy my drink. Leave me alone.
You approach me.
Well, I don't like your face.
As this is happening, the third visitor to Thane's Stand in the past 15 minutes enters the town, and he carries with him an almost palpable aura of melancholy. Even with the warmth of the sun soaking into his weathered and bearded face, Kieran, the greeter, fights a shiver. Aye, lad. He's sizing you up, looking at your rough gold-looking scales on the Dragonborn standing before him. Who are ya?
My name's Tazzer.
Writes into his thing again, and he's kind of giving you side-eye. I'm sorry, I believe our inn just reached capacity. You can stay in one of our tents, but you'll have to speak to the quartermaster about the specifics.
That's okay, I don't need a tent.
You either need a tent or a room at the inn, or you can't be in the town for the festival. Unless you're here for the day, but 2 days.
I don't plan on staying long, just for the day.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, if you're not going to be here for the festival, what are you doing here in Thane's Stand?
Just pass it through.
Okay, well, whatever you do, just don't get in any trouble.
Meanwhile, I'm addressing the innkeeper and getting myself a room.
Okay. I haven't met you yet, lass. What's your name?
It's Matixia.
Mataxia.
That's not what I said.
My name is Kieran. My brother's name is also Kieran, and our father's name is also Kieran. You said you needed a room at the inn.
I do. I need a room at the inn.
Rooms are 1 gold piece a night. How long do you plan on staying with us? The festival is in 2 days.
Right now I'll do 2 nights.
2 nights. It's going to be 2 gold, please.
All right.
Make sure to mark that off on your sheet later as well.
Here you go. Here's 2 gold.
He exchanges the 2 gold for the room key. It's like a skeleton kind of key. A little bit of weight to it. He gestures off to like a stairwell behind, like a little bit off-centered from where the bar is. You go up the stairs there, first room to the right. That'll be your room. Have a bathhouse downstairs in the basement. Welcome to use that. And, yeah. Welcome. Hope you enjoy the festival.
Thank you, sir. I'll have another ale.
Passes you another ale. First gonna be another 10 copper. The ale is very expensive. It's kind of like when you go to Disney World and like everything is like upcharged by like 10,000%.
I'm gonna go ahead and leave him 2 copper too.
Thank you, lass.
What do I observe when I first
was
walk
gonna
into
punch
the
you.
town?
Right.
Roll me perception. You know what? You asked me. Roll for investigation or perception, whatever's higher.
You should still hunt.
11.
Broke away. So.
Largely, you see the same things that they saw, including the tower off in the like back left. You also see kind of like through where some of the hanging linens and things are, and some of the wagons in the center of town. The ciphers interaction, like this elven interaction, or the interaction between these 2 elves, seems like it's getting somewhat heated. But one of the individuals involved just like has this deadpan expression, so like it's like half heated. Besides that, off to your right-hand side, you see these like an orderly series of these thickly hided tents, and kind of moving within them are these black robe figures that you would also seen walking up to the town itself. Again, they have these. Like this insignia on top of their black robes. It's just an eyeball with flames coming out of it.
I'm gonna approach one of the, or if they're walking in pairs, 2 of the people in robes with the insignias and ask them what the insignias are.
Before you do, roll me either a history or religion check, whatever's higher.
All day.
7.
7. It looks vaguely familiar to you. You don't know if you haven't read a lot of books, so you don't know if you've heard this like in a story in passing somewhere or what. It's kind of like one of those things where it's right on the tip of your tongue, but you can't really articulate how you know what
She
these
has my
people
shirt.
are. As you walk up to them, one of them sees you approach, and
She
he
says-
kind of taps over to the guy next to him because
says
there's
she
two of them in the
has
pair. He looks over at
My
you.
short.
What can we do for you, citizen?
I was just, I
DC
just got into
Norfolk.
town, and I was just curious. The symbol you got on your chest was really familiar. I was just wondering what it is.
You see this wide smile go across his face, and he says, I love when people ask me about my symbol. You have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior,
No.
Balcazar Thane. It seems you do because you approached us. It appears your soul may be in need of
That's your
saving. Praise be, hallelujah. And you see the guy next to him just whisper, hallelujah.
I mean, I'm curious about. Does it have anything to do with that tower in the distance?
It does. If you were sticking around for the festival, which I'm assuming you are since you're here, we're going to be going in depth, talking about it. We have our Grand Prefect here. He's been studying with the Order a long, long time. He'll be talking about it. We're actually going to be running through a rehearsal here later today, sometime this evening.
Maybe I'll stick around for the festival then. Wasn't planning on it, but I might go look into getting a tent.
Okay, well, if you're getting a tent, I happen to be the quartermaster. If you want, I can rent one to you right now. And he gestures over to. So there's these these very ordered, structured tents next to you. You get the impression that those ones belong to the soldiers or to the people who have arrived with this order. But there's also other tents that are set up, not nearly as nice, not nearly as organized. But those are kind of the ones that he's gesturing off to. They're very basic, but that's what he points to.
How much are the tents?
They're 2 gold a night. Not a whole lot in the with the amenities, but
I'll take a tent.
how many nights were you thinking? Festival's in 2 days, so I guess it'd be 4 gold. Unless you want to stay longer, which, you can.
I'll stay for the whole festival, so.
Okay. In that case, it's going to be 4 gold. I can take it from you here.
Alright.
Wait, was it 2 all the night for my room too?
No,
It was 1 gold. You paid
Oh,
less
okay,
than he
so
did,
I
and he
did-
paid for a tent with
I did
no
that.
amenities. You paid for a room with like a bathhouse and everything.
Fire festival?
Yeah, essentially.
I could use a drink, so I'll make my way towards the tavern.
Okay. On your way out, he's gonna kind of nod at you and say, "You're gonna be at tent 4. So whenever you come back, there's a big, bright red. It's painted right on the side there. You can't miss it. Before you go, if at any point you require healing or some spiritual guidance, you have a Thane stand right behind me. Gestures to like a hastily though neatly constructed stand with a woman cleric manning it or womaning it. And you're gonna head off to the inn then. We're going to switch perspectives again. You are the cleric working the Thane stand in Thane's stand. Watching all the newcomers with varying degrees of indifference, a young cleric feels a tap on her shoulder. Hi, your shift is up. I can take over for a bit. And you look over, you see like this, you recognize him because you've been on the road with him for a couple months now. His name's Jeff. He's like 16 or 17. Patchy, pubescent, like stubble is on his face, and it couples with a very poor attempt at shaving. There's a little bit of acne on there. Kind of the ward of the Grand Prefect. He eventually wants to become one. That's what he aspires to be, but that's Jeff. He's looking to take over.
I turn to him and I say, I am 150 years old. I think I'll be able to handle myself. But if you're offering to take over,
Yeah.
then I'll kindly accept.
Yeah, no, I meant because we had the schedule put up on the wall here, the bulletin, and your shift ended. So I was just coming to take over. I didn't mean any offense or anything.
Okay, no problem.
She's like,
And I move aside and I kind of motion that he can take over what I'm doing.
Ah, yes, I'll spread the word of our Lord and Savior. I'm sorry, I know you don't worship him directly, but it's awesome just to be learning from you the last couple months, I guess.
And I just say, like, yeah, no problem. I kind of blow him off and turn around. And go about my
Okay,
business.
that's fine.
So you go on. What are you doing? Where are you going?
I am going back to my tent.
So your tent is situated within the rest of where the regimented tents are, with the order that had arrived. It's really nice. It's a lot better than like the shit that the other people get. You got like an actual bedroll. You got like some thick hides that you can cuddle up with. It's pretty nice. there anything in particular you're doing there? Throwing on some smooth jazz?
No, I just do my nightly ritual of, undressing all of my...
So it's only 2 p.m.
Oh.
2:15.
Okay. Well, I just dress into my casual clothes and get ready to go back outside of my tent and mingle.
Okay. So you take off, like, the robe that you were wearing before, like the rest of the order that you had arrived with. Essentially, because of your contract, you were forced to wear it with them. You don't necessarily believe everything that this order believes in, but hey, it's a paycheck.
Honey.
So, yeah, you change it in. You're in something a lot more comfortable now. And it's a bit warmer, too, which is nice. And where do you say you're heading to?
Just to walk around the town and see the festival getting set up.
Okay. So you go ahead, you walk around the town. You see that it looks like at this point, the majority of the wagons are set up or just about set up. A couple of them look over at you, but they recognize you as being one of, the order that had arrived. So you don't really have any vultures, like, circling you, trying to make a sale. You also notice as you're walking again where this tower is with this bright light at the top. And it's cool to you, like, as someone who has a connection with the divine, you recognize that there's something here, though you can't quite put your finger on it. And you see more and more people kind of funneling in through the entryway as well, kind of mostly making their way now to the tents because the inn has been filled.
Right.
So am I still with the other elf?
Yes.
Okay.
At this point, yes.
All right.
You see that as well. You see where he's kind of arguing.
You know what? How about I run back up the hill where the guards are at? Yeah, I'm going strong. We're doing this. I run up the hill. I take my bow. I shoot one guard and I shoot the other guard. I'm breaking in.
You turn around, you start bolting. This guy, still with this really plain affect, just turns to the guards. Guards, he's running. Like, nothing really. They kind of think he's just bullshitting at this point, so they take a little bit of time to react. But you're running up. I want you to roll, because this is a surprise round, I want you to roll 2 attack rolls.
20
Fucking A.
and a 5.
Trying to stop him? Okay.
So he's gonna get this first attack off, and then I'll introduce you, because you're like walking past this tower. You see this whole thing happening. The rest of you are inside.
She's just watching this whole thing.
You're in your tent, right?
No, we're getting drunk.
Yeah, he's essentially walking into the tavern as this is happening. You two are in there just silently drinking, I guess, at this point.
I'm talking to the innkeep still.
When we come back to you, I'm going to have you roll for intoxication level, which we'll get to shortly. Okay, so you rolled a 20 and a 5.
Yeah, plus 7.
Okay, I want you to roll for damage now.
6.
That's you rolled a 6, so 6 plus. What's your plus there?
1d8 plus 4.
So you got a 6 plus 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So you shoot your first arrow. These guards are just like sitting there talking to each other like, hey man, like, do you ever wonder why we're here? What's the bigger things in life? You know, what's going on? All of a sudden he just takes an arrow straight into his shoulder, goes right past the gap in his armor, sticks out the other side, and you can see from where you're running up, just a spray of blood on the side of the tower. The second guard, he's like, holy shit, what the fuck? And he turns as the second arrow hits him in the shoulder, but it glances off his armor. And you just hear, hits into the wall there. The guy with the arrow currently in his shoulder is like, what the fuck? So they both look over to you. Nova, you just witnessed this entire thing happen. You don't know what the hell's going on, but you know that this tower needs to be protected. You don't really understand why. You've kind of picked up little bits and pieces.
Can I roll an insight check to see, like, what he's doing?
If you would like to roll, it's an action. So if you want to roll an insight check, that's fine, but I'm moving back to him then.
Okay, that's fine. 21.
He is attacking the tower. It looks like he wants to get in. You see that very clearly that he just did a pretty good amount of damage to one of the 2 guards that were standing there. You realize the guard that was just hit is Maxwell. You don't really know him too well, but you know he has a wife and kids. At that same time, you hear one of the guards, the other one, the one who was not injured, just start yelling, screaming, we're under attack, we're under attack. You guys hear all of that because now there are bells going off all around town.
Do I hear it? Because am I in the tavern yet?
You were just walking into the door when the first shot was fired.
That's what I figured I would probably do.
Yes, yeah, and the door is open, so like even more so, all of you guys hear it. So you're hearing like, we're under attack, someone's trying to steal the gauntlet.
Oh, I'm 100%.
I'm running outside.
Out of curiosity.
I'm taking outside.
Okay.
In.
I want you to roll, I'm going to steal one of these, I want you to roll for initiative.
It's a 5.
You're running up to where these guards are. Before you're able to get another shot off, One of the guards draws his weapon, and he has a shield as well, so he pulls that up ahead of him. And we'll say that you are about 60 feet or so from where the base of this tower is. So you're not within range of this guy, and he only has the sword. So essentially, at this point, he's putting himself into a defensive position in case another shot comes at him. You're rolling next. You're attacking next.
3.
Okay, so you're just shooting at him at this point, or are you getting closer?
He has his shield up. Is it like a full body shield?
And mostly just for his torso.
Okay. I shoot a bow at his thighs. Do I hit?
For a 3, you do not, unfortunately. So you aim for the thighs, but it goes to slightly higher up. It hits the shield almost dead on, and the arrow just splinters as it makes contact with it. The other guard, the one that you had shot, pulls out a hand crossbow. He struggles with the one arm because the one is essentially disabled at this point, attempting to load his crossbow. For his turn, all he essentially does is load that arrow into that crossbow. So that goes through that round of combat. What are you guys doing? Any of you?
I'm outside the.
Help me. Anyone? Someone
You're
help
just, okay, so you walk out and you're just a spectator. Because, I mean, at this point, you don't really know what's going on. And it looks like the guards, I mean, whoever's...
My beer, my
I knew you were going to do this.
Did you?
I did, I planned for it.
Gonna get myself another ale. Nice and small, you know?
Did you really think I was
I did, actually.
I'm a rum guy.
Then I head outside to watch the show.
Okay, so you're on your 3rd ale now. I want you to roll... You're going to be rolling, for me, 3 constitution checks.
I got a 9, a 9, and a 19.
You feel incredibly brave in this moment. Your judgment is very off, and I'm going to give you disadvantage on most skill checks. It'll be situational. So, depending on what you're trying to do, but at this point you're just watching, right?
Yeah.
Entering into the second round of combat, guard 1 with his shield up. He attempts to close the distance between you and him, so he's now leaving where this tower is. He's hasted, so he makes it the full 60 feet to you. But that's his entire turn.
Okay.
He uses his action to essentially sprint to you. He can't not do anything else.
Alright.
So he's right up on you.
So, can I pull out my swords or no?
Oh yeah, at this point, yeah.
Okay, my dual swords.
Okay.
Emphasis on dual.
Cool.
I'm gonna slide on my knees and aim for his legs.
Okay.
Dual sword with
Awesome. Your 2 weapons, go ahead and roll the d20 twice.
8 and 13.
God damn, they are +7. Both of them hit.
Yes. 3.
3, 4, 5.
3.
So 6 and 8.
Yeah.
8, 9, 10, 11 points of damage. So you're sliding. You take both blades to the front of his knees, yeah, because he's facing
Shins.
you. And you just, you hear him. And he falls forward. His shield leaves his arm.
Yes.
And he's going to take his next turn, to just essentially just stand up is going to be half of his movement speed. You see guard 2 now at this point. The arrow is still in his arm, but he has that crossbow loaded at you. I think this hits you, because I rolled a natural 14 and he had a +2 to hit, so... You're a little bit lucky. All right, 3 points of damage. So you're gonna mark that off in your thing. You're taking 3 points minus whatever your max HP was. The arrow does not lodge itself in you. It like you have your armor and things. It hits you, and you take like a little bit of bludgeoning damage from the force of the arrow. Hits you and falls away. Any of you guys doing anything at this point?
Help me.
Nova, are you doing anything?
I'm attacking.
You now know he's definitely attacking.
You're the closest. How far away is the tavern from the tower?
I'm attacking this tower.
I'm neutral good.
250 meters. Yards.
I'm neutral good, so I'm going to remain neutral with good intentions and just hope that everything turns out okay.
These people are actively murdering each other in front of you. Well, guys.
This one. I'll come help. I'm drunk and I'm making bad decisions.
So you're coming from across town. You can still see where this is happening because it's happening on like a little bit of a mound. So you start sprinting that direction. I want you to roll me a athletics check.
17 plus 2.
Oh, nice. You successfully do not fall on your ass on your way over to him, as drunk as you are. So you make it over. There's like some more people, like for the ones that were entering in and more people coming out of the tavern, you kind of have to worm your way like through them. And essentially you do. You make it past them and you are now, you've essentially halved the distance between where you were and where they are. So you're getting there. At this point, there are 2 more guards that have arrived.
They're behind me.
They're at your rear.
Okay, behind me.
Guard 3.
I gotta keep this one.
One of them is just generic guard 3, but the other one is the one that you had met prior, the quartermaster.
Maxwell.
No, Maxwell.
Maxwell is the one that had the arrow in him. He has a wife and kids, man.
He's guarding something for once.
Okay, so back up to guard 1. This is the one who you had just taken out at the knees. Okay, motherfucker. So he struggles to get back onto his feet. He does so successfully, but he's a little bit wobbly. His shield is now off. It's on the ground. You can see now because the shield is facing downward where the scraps have busted from where his fall had happened. So, I mean, it's -2 to his AC, so you have pretty good luck on your next hit. It's essentially all he does is just stand and try to attempt to steady himself. That's it. He rolled pretty low, so it's on to you. You're fucked on this turn.
Really?
There's 2 more guards. Yeah, man.
I have to kill the one in front of me so I can get.
You just gotta get into the tower.
Yeah. 12. What does that do for me?
Getting +7. Yeah, that hits. That's 1. What are you doing with the other sword? Both of them hit. Go ahead and roll for damage for both. 1 and 4.
it's
So,
an
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my god. With both of your swords, you take them. Well, you tell me, actually. What would you like to do with your swords? I'm gonna allow you to do that.
Jesus.
So with your true swords, you see that he's struggling, and you have one sword like aimed at him. You swing it toward him. He blocks it, but he fails to block your second sword, and you just take his head clean off.
Oh my god. Is
That
that
was
Maxwell?
Maxwell, right?
That was Frank. Maxwell's the guy who's about to die.
Maxwell's next.
So you take his head clean off. It spins through the air, hits the ground, and does a little bit of a roll, and his body just topples lifeless afterwards. Rolls to your feet, so you know everything is not going to be okay. Definitely not for Frank. Okay, moving on to guard 2. Again, attempting to load up that crossbow. Motherfucker. He loads it up. He takes a shot at you, but like he's wounded in one arm. So like he takes a shot at you. It just flies clear past, disappears into the wagon.
Just to hit someone else.
You hear like a little, but you have no idea where it ended up. Because he's shooting kind of down at you because he's up on this hill. All right, and you now have 2 more guards coming up at your rear, and even more guards behind them. They're right up on you at this point. One is just the first guard, regular. You can kind of hear his footsteps behind you, and as he's swinging at you, you put your sword behind you and you block it. And the second guy, who this is the quartermaster, the only person who would know this is Nova. This is Captain Zira. He is the quartermaster. So, and his sword is larger than the rest of them. It is a 2-handed weapon.
Sword or broadsword? Or?
It is a broadsword. He's holding it with 2 hands. This thing is massive. It's like almost as large as you are almost. And he takes a swing. He takes a swing at you, and so you block the first one, you kind of turn around and you jump back, and it just barely misses you. This thing would have cut you in 2 if it had gotten a solid shot. So, we're back up to you. But unless anyone else wants to do anything. Nova, anybody else? I will take one more if that's okay. I am going to take another drink if that's okay.
I mean, like, is there popcorn around?
Oh, that's right. You're halfway there. You can reach him in 1 turn, but if you will spend your entire turn reaching him, you won't be able to do anything once you get there. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Are you trying to sneak up on him? What are you trying to do when you get there?
I don't know. I guess it depends on who's winning when I.
Oh, I have a good play next.
You have an idea that he's not going to be the winner because there's one of him and there's like 50 more guards on their way. There's a lot more guards. This town is like half guards.
No. I'm
Guards, like they're members of this order, but
You retreat, you're not going to jail.
I have a good.
he just killed a person. He's going to jail no
Yeah.
matter what happens.
I have-
If they don't kill him outright.
Maybe I should just go back to the
I have a good play right now.
She sprints out. Oh wait a second.
sees all
Sees
the
this guy,
guards.
gets his head cut off, turns around and runs back in. Is that what you want to do?
I don't
Intimidation.
want to be a witness.
You're right there.
You know what? I'll just take a nice little stroll nearby, try to walk off some of the alcohol.
So you sprint halfway. You see this guy get his head cut off, and you're like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna take a walk.
Well, this guy's not half bad. For an elf.
I like it.
I don't like elves.
You just kind of.
I don't like elves or orcs.
I got that impression.
My turn yet?
Back up the top of the
Alright.
order. Go ahead.
All right.
What are you doing?
I'm using Misty Step because I can teleport 30 feet.
You
from-
fucking can. That's right.
Yeah, I fucking can. I'm 30 feet teleporting to unoccupied space. So where is he at? Where is this guy at?
So there's one guard. There's Maxwell is right in front of you. He's still standing essentially at the door. Guard number 3, like the one who had shown up, and Zira, they are right behind you, like right up on you within 5 feet.
Okay, I'm teleporting past the gate.
You can only teleport with Misty Step to areas you can see. You cannot see beyond
Can
the
I go
door.
on top of the gate?
Like up the wall.
Yes.
No, because it's 100 to 150 feet up.
Can I go 30 feet on the wall?
Yes, you can. I want you to roll me an acrobatics check. Because you were essentially jumping. Well, I'm assuming you're putting your swords away
Yes.
and then jumping.
So he's doing that.
I would like to make an action after.
Well, he's doing
This
that.
is not going to work out for you. I'm telling you right now.
I'm having fun.
Oh, he's doing
Acrobatics?
Yes.
Which one do I roll?
Roll a d20 and then you're going to add your acrobatics modifier.
He's made it a lot harder than I thought he
Woo! 19 plus 4! Let's go!
I wanted you to fall. I wanted you to get up there, lose your grip, and then fall like 30 feet to the ground.
Go! 19 plus 4!
Oh my
I'm
God.
All right. You do it. As all these guards, normally they'd get an opportunity attack on you, but since it's a magic means of escape, you just do right out of their line of sight. You fly up onto the top of this tower, and you had kind of seen where you wanted to fly to, or where you wanted to jump to first, obviously. And there's like some loose stones and things that are jutted out. You just jump right up to them, and then you are holding onto these to dear life, like with dear life.
Yes.
And the Maxwell kind of looks over at the two guards who had approached, and he kind of gives them a look. And there's fear in his eyes. You don't see this, but you do. And he kind of looks up at you, and he like shrugs a little, and then he puts up his hand crossbow and he shoots up to where you are. He's shooting with advantage because you're. He hits you. He hits you. Roll a d20. Add your Constitution modifier. This is for concentration. Maintaining the concentration of those handholds.
20.
You roll it. Natural 20?
Natural 20.
Oh my god! Why is this happening? You just take 6 points of damage, so mark that off on your thing. This arrow, it sticks into you, but it's kind of like, it sticks a little bit into your calf, but you have some thick clothing and armor on you, so it only gets maybe half an inch or so in. You could feel like this warm liquid rush down like your leg, like your blood flowing from where this attack was. But yeah, you hold on to this thing for dear life. And the other guards, and there's more now kind of gathering up. There's like maybe 3, 4, 5 more that show up behind where
I have a good plan. Yeah, I'm gonna finish.
where Zira and this other guard are, and they are all now just readying various crossbows. Go ahead. What are any of you doing it? You said you wanted to do anything. You wanted to do something after he did his thing.
I'm gonna use my one spell that I have, and it is within touching range of me. And remember how Frank's head rolled towards me? I'm going to raise the dead. I'm going to raise Frank.
You son of a...
So you just touch his head?
You're a cleric?
Wait. Okay. What is? Explain that. Okay.
I was like, I have
my
something I would
research.
like to do.
Apparently.
You're a cleric necromancer at this point. I didn't know you cool fast.
Spell from your slice and
No, this is a spell.
Okay, so typically, since this requires a material component, I'd make you like have some kind of. It says on here, diamond worth 500 gold pieces. I'm going to allow that if there is something on your person that your character would be carrying that would maybe have the sentimental value of 500 gold pieces. If your character owns anything that like means something to her, then I will allow you to sacrifice that thing to save this person.
So you sound 30 feet in the air, right? I'm on a rock.
You're going full.
Oh yeah, I'm going full road, yeah.
Oh god.
So, how far am I from the tower?
What did I say it was?
250, I think you said?
That was I said
Not from
yards
the top.
initially, but about 250 feet from the entrance of the inn.
So I don't
Nova.
have any equipment. I
Thank
didn't add any.
Let him die!
Roll me a religion
Let
check.
Frank rest in peace.
Roll me it with disadvantage. So roll it twice and pick the lower of the two.
Let his head just stay there.
It's like putting their heads.
What was it on that one? It's not gonna happen. So here's what happens though.
Oh my god.
The power of your god channels through you into this head. And for a brief moment, you see a spark of life in this thing's eyes. And then you hear, "Ah!" And then it dies again. Because it's a decapitated head, and you're not going to bring a dead head back to life. If you rolled high, I was going to say you restore life just to the head. The body is still dead, and the head just has to be a head.
That would be great.
Forever. But that did not happen. So that's what you do. You try really hard because you know Maxwell and his kids and his wife, they need him.
Wait, this was a Maxwell.
No,
This
this
is
is
Frank.
Frank.
He doesn't have anyone. It's fine. It's back to you. What are you doing? You're on the side of this wall. So there's bells and things and screams and yells all around town. Everything is just, look at that guy climbing right there!
I'm gonna try climbing.
Same deal as before. Go ahead and roll me a acrobatics check. With advantage, so roll twice and pick the higher of the two. Are you guys doing anything in this time? I feel the need to ask.
We're just talking to each other.
So
back and forth.
I had an idea, but then I realized I'm way too far to implement my idea.
I bet $5 on the elf.
5 gold? You guys are making a bet?
I'll take that bet.
What's
I
the,
got 5
that
gold
he'll
on
reach the top?
I got 5 gold on the guards.
Okay.
I met that quartermaster earlier. He's badass. I got it.
have you seen that elf? He
What are you doing?
Guy.
Yeah,
I'm
but you can't decapitate all of them.
pickpocketing bystanders.
Are you?
And
Roll a sleight of hand with disadvantage. You roll your stuff.
I got a 9 for the first one.
What did you roll? Was that the higher? Yeah, roll again.
She's
You're picking the higher of the
They're
two.
trying to steal people's shit.
That's fine. If it was just in that one, you would have fallen. You rolled a 9 or a 10.
9 and
So 9 plus 4. You don't get very far up, maybe like another 10 feet or so up, which is still pretty good.
How big is this
Consider-
damn rock?
It's 150 feet, man. You're now 40 feet up on 150 feet.
I'm gonna die, yeah.
What's she?
yeah, I'm
The low. 14 with disadvantage. Okay.
5 plus 9.
So the difficulty class for that was fairly low because everyone is looking at this. Over the course of that, you collect 3 sapphires with a total of 150 gold between all 3 of them. You find a pack of 20 copper pieces, like a little bag, and surprisingly, on one of the guards, because you were feeling pretty brazen after the first 2, you pull off. It's weird. You pull off a large diamond. You have no idea where he had gotten it from. This diamond is worth 300 gold pieces. He's a lot of money. He's a lot of dough. Captain Zira, the quartermaster, turns back to more of the guards that are arriving. He points to the door, and I guess at this point Nova's the only one that's close enough. He's saying, "Get inside, go up to the top, we'll beat him up there." And he loads up his longbow, where the rest of them have like crossbows or hand crossbows. He has a longbow with a fairly large amount of range to it, and he's going to take a shot at you.
Uh-oh.
He does not hit. He does not hit. It flies just past you, and it hits where some of the stone, like one of the holds that you were just about to reach for was. It hits it, kind of goes off at an angle, and you actually see a spark from like where the tip of this had hit the rock. Most of the other guards take a minute to unlock the door to the tower, and they just go rushing up to the top and start running. They've got to go up a lot of stairs to go up all the way to the top.
If I just let go, what number do I have to get to survive the drop?
An acrobatic saving throw, you're going to take a lot of damage no matter what.
Okay, then I'm gonna do Cure Wounds while I'm climbing. 5 plus 2.
So 7. You restore 7 points of damage, 7 points of health.
Put that hard one. So close to that. And diamond dust.
So, it's still my turn?
That's an action, but you have movement speed. So you can either go up or down. Not very far. I'll make you roll again. You could hear the guards talking down below. Like, Zero was yelling pretty loudly. You know they are in the tower. It's going to take them a while to get to the top. Going the speed that you're going, you know they will reach the top with the stairs and you will climb it.
So, they're right behind me, right? I'm above them?
Yes.
I'm going...
They're a little bit of a distance. You can't jump to them. That's what you're doing. Essentially, at this point, it is Zira and maybe 2 or 3 other guards loading up crossbows.
Okay, what I'm gonna
The
do
rest of
is-
them are in the tower.
What I'm gonna do is put one arm on the rock, my 2 feet on the rock. I grab the other hand with my sword. I'm gonna jump off. I kick myself to jump off the rock. I grab my other sword, and I'm going full thrust.
What are you aiming for? The ground?
These guards. I'm fighting.
First off, roll me an athletics. Yeah.
9 plus 4.
Roll me a constitution saving throw now. And you're at, what'd I say, 40 feet?
Yeah.
You guys are over here tough as
7.
shit.
You take 30 points of damage as you collide with the ground. What is your health?
2.
Fuck! It's because you did that. You got cure wounds. I'm alive. He has 2 HP remaining. You fell to the ground. He tried to knife the guards like some Wolverine shit on the way down. And he misses and just face plants onto the ground, but surprisingly does not die. But
What's your health
breaks
at?
his arms.
2. He's at 2 HP. So you hit the ground. Both of your swords make impact with the ground. Both of them shatter.
Alright, Johan,
Or
let's
bend
see
or
if I have
break.
any cantrips that-
Don't heal him. I know you just killed all these people, but I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Led by Zira and a bunch of the guards come up to you. They grab you. They put you in manacles and they start taking you back to with 2 health remaining. So you are hurting.
Yeah.
You think you have a couple broken bones, some broken ribs. Surprisingly, you didn't break anything in your legs. At least nothing that you can feel.
Oh.
They walk you back to where the tents were, the regimented ones, and they're kind of towards the back against the wall almost. There is a post in the ground with a bunch of chains and things on it. Your legs have manacles on them. Your arms have manacles on them, and they're behind you, and both of those things are tethered to a chain that is stuck to a pole in the ground. They chain you up to that, but before they do, they strip you down. There's some clothing still on you, but it's not enough to keep you warm, especially through the night. So you are right now incredibly uncomfortable. Like, it's warming up outside, but we're still talking like 40 degrees out. It's warm by comparison to what it's been. And you're not shivering. You're basically, you got like no clothes on you, and there are baskets of rotting fruit and things around where this post is in the ground, where random individuals could just walk up and chuck like tomatoes and shit at you.
After he fell to his near death, he said, "Damn," and gave me the 5 gold.
Gave you the 5 gold.
So
Okay.
now I would like to walk up to where he is and take a piece of fruit and go, "Thanks for the 5 gold," and chuck it at him.
And he's not the only one. There are other people. A lot of the pilgrims that have made their way to this location, the spot that you were just attempting to vandalize is like very important to them. It's their entire culture. So you, within the next 30 minutes, just become covered in rotting fruit.
I'm starting to gravitate towards these 2 guys. Because they look like they're like conjuring something up. I don't really know what they're doing. But I just need like to talk to somebody because I'm a witness at this point.
You're a witness, and you didn't know Frank very well, at least not as much as Maxwell, but like you knew that he had like aspirations and things. Like he wanted to be an adventurer when he got out. This was kind of just a way to raise money for him. Like he believed in what the Order of the Eternal Sun was about, but like not enough to devote his life to it. You know?
Why was it my
Was it
life?
like a mandatory 2 years?
Yeah, essentially, and then he can go to college for free. You could have just asked to see it. You could have just asked, "Can you guys take me up?" It's like you go to a museum and you just murder the guards at the museum instead of just like buying a free ticket.
I didn't know that. I wanted to go gung ho.
Yeah. I mean, she can walk up to us. At this point, I've thrown the fruit and we're just kind of hanging out.
Okay. So, Nova, you go up to these 2 to kind of talk to them and vent about, like, everything you just witnessed, and you kind of hear this little voice behind you. Ah, that was pretty crazy, wasn't it? And it's Jeff. It's Jeff. Wow, I never saw someone get killed before.
Real quick, what race is she? Sorry.
She's orc, elf.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Are you being a woman right now? I think I missed
No, it's a little dorky dude named Jeff. A woman named Jeff.
Wait, you remember when one of those guards threw the arrow? Who did it hit? You see it?
Oh, I thought it hit a dog.
No, it went off into like where the market was. We'll see. That is the noise I made.
It sounded like a yip from like a dog when you made that noise originally.
It was someone. It was a person.
Okay, what was the part?
It was a person, but we haven't gotten to that yet. I'm glad you reminded me though. So you just, like, Jeff is just like, "Oh, I've never seen a dead body before. That was scary, don't you think?"
We kind of turn around and see that he's like a weakling.
Yeah, and you know him, like, he is kind of a dork.
Okay, I know him.
He's been training under you for like the past 4 months.
Yeah.
Are they
really?
close
Yeah.
enough?
Oh, so that was the guy that was.
This was the guy at the stand, yeah.
Oh.
Are they close
Not like the creepy, like,
Oh, not the one that.
hey, I'm sorry, maybe my voices are too similar.
Oh, yeah, I realized.
Are they close enough to us for us to hear him say that?
Yes. Yeah, because she was walking up to you guys.
Okay,
So I don't say anything. It's
so
like,
he said, I've never seen
I'm
that
gonna
body
pickpocket
before. I
Jack.
was like, get used to it, kid.
Do it. Roll a sleight of hand. Don't roll anything. Roll a sleight of hand with disadvantage. What is your passive perception?
My passive
It's like 12 or
perception
13.
is
10? What'd you got?
I got a 13. Let me check.
Wait, I roll for.
I got a 13 and a 14. So
Huh?
13.
I roll for what? Perception or
You can roll for perception.
13 plus 5, 18.
12 plus
It's no way it's as high as hers.
12 plus 5,
17.
that's 18.
What did you roll?
18.
17.
You see nothing.
Damn it!
Damn it!
So on what the fuck is your name?
Evil.
Thor.
Tezra.
Why don't you help me?
Yeah. So on his person, you pull out a couple things. It's like mostly lint and things from his pocket, but you also pull out this weird looking totem. Do you want to describe your totem?
Where do I
Can I
have
see the map?
that?
No.
I know it's in
Yeah. Yeah. You guys can all see the map. This is kind of what the layout of the
What was
thing
that?
looks
That
like.
was.
You were climbing up this thing.
You're talking
It's huge.
Are you talking about the Gothic trinket?
Yes.
I love how you had to point
You didn't tell me what your vow. Is it this because it's a part of your?
It was part of the haunted one thing. It told me to pick a Gothic trinket. I don't know what it's
So
for,
that trinket, we're gonna say for the sake of this, it represents your tribe. You have
Okay.
your swords that are remind you of your father, but your trinket is what reminds you of your family, of
Okay.
your tribe,
That's
and
wasn't sure what I was
that
thinking.
it means a lot to you. And now it's gone.
It's a Lepidopterus box filled with dead moths with skull-like patterns on their wings.
So you see this, and you're like, what the fuck is this? But like you realize it's so weird that it has to be valuable in some way. So that's just something to remember.
Alright.
That's like the core. That's like one of the core components of who he is as a person.
I'm just gonna go up to him and say, dude, what the fuck is this?
Where did you get that?
Out
Give
of
me
your-
that.
out of your
I take
pocket,
it from
dude.
You let him have it.
Yep, I give it back. Because it's just so weird. I'm like,
Do you do anything?
I'm gonna stomp.
You're watching this whole thing now at this
Yeah.
point because of this interaction.
I'm gonna stomp her. No one touches my stuff.
I'm gonna fight back.
You guys are fighting?
Wait, am I still
Yeah.
here?
I'm going to join in. The
Yeah, you're
fight.
watching
She
this.
pissed me off earlier.
Holy shit! I'm not gonna get to the actual game.
I'm a female,
So we're gonna kill each other.
I have all this lore that I made up and shit.
And we're gonna murder each other the first time.
For the sake of it, I want all four of you to roll for initiative.
So I got a 5.
19.
I rolled a 15.
Oh
It's on the
yeah.
first page.
I lost your wife.
So here's the issue though, you're still drunk, so roll with disadvantage.
So you gotta roll the second time. 12
Bomber.
plus whatever your
We're gonna die.
initiative is. Oh, it's raining.
Oh, check that out. It's such a late rain. I didn't
Yeah.
even realize.
So I got 14.
It's Cypher, you're not even there. I mean, you're there, you're watching this happen because it's happening like right on the edge. You're like semi-naked. You're freezing, covered in tomato guts.
I was like, he's probably cheering for them, or for her, because I threw a tomato at him.
Tazaruk, go ahead and do what you're doing.
I'm gonna do I'm gonna do an unarmed strike, just because I'm pissed that she
Yeah.
had my wing, and I'm gonna punch her as hard as possible.
Roll to hit. Natural one.
Fucker.
Okay. You go to punch at Metaxia.
Sound it out!
Taxi.
Mati Sigia.
Oh my god, it's Matixia. It's a Y. It makes the M like an I.
You have an M-O-T.
M-I-M-
Matixia.
M-O-T.
Matixia.
Y-X-I-A.
Okay, anyway, you go to throw a punch at Matixia, you end up going right past her head into the face of the man you were just making this bet with.
So
Stommer.
No, my unarmed strike is just 5 damage.
You take 5 points of damage. He hits you, it stings. You don't like this.
I said to him, I was like, I know where this is going, I'm so sorry.
Next up is Nova. What are you doing?
Okay.
Doing an insight check. Saying what's happening.
We didn't
Yeah.
even make it to the first boss yet.
You guys didn't make it anywhere. You guys didn't make it. It's still like, it's like 2:30. It's 30 minutes after you guys got here. You drank a bunch. You killed some people. Which is
He
fun.
killed some people. We didn't.
You killed a
shit.
person.
I only have like one free beer.
Took his head off.
Took his head off. I'm a free ale.
Okay.
I would just like to
Metaxia?
pass.
Yeah, see that?
Nothing. It's completely skipping your turn.
Metaxia.
Okay, we're on to Matixia.
Metaxia.
All right.
Matixia? I said it right?
There you go. Good job.
Ah,
Good work, everyone.
Don't get used to it. Matixia, what are you doing? He just punched at you and punched his friend. You knew it was going for you. You kind of dodged out of the way.
all right.
Drunkenly dodged.
I don't know, guys. Should I let him go or should I slice him off?
You're asking
Go, you're
him?
drunk.
Your rescue cipher.
You're
Who said
drunk.
You cannot
We're
put
using
back on the good.
this right now. We didn't bring out weapons yet.
Rescue cipher.
Well, maybe I don't want to bring out weapons.
No, just let him go.
If you bring me out, I will help you fight them.
What am I
He
supposed to do about
he yells from where he is tethered up. I'll fight them for you. Rescue me.
You have 2 health, sir.
I'll
I will
say,
Seriously, he does. I forgot about that.
I'll just
Yes,
say,
no,
all right,
no
buddy.
weapons.
I'm gonna let that one slide. Have a drink on me. Let's go to the
They're gonna let
cross.
what
Oh, that's a
slide? You were
truce.
stealing my
She offered
stuff.
you a truce.
Okay.
No. You
Are
stole
you
my stuff.
fucking kidding
You
me?
picked my pockets.
Wow.
And she gave it back. And she's
I
letting
take
you.
his pocket. I give it back. Then I'm like, here, let me buy you a drink, and this is how he's gonna act.
That's some fucked up shit.
He's like,
What do you... Is there anything else you want to do on your turn? So,
She gave it back.
we're gonna say that talking to him was considered your action, but you still get a bonus action. So you can disengage, there's a couple other things that you can do as a rogue. And you still have your movement, so if you wanted to get away from him, you could try to do that.
all right, I guess I'm gonna cut him.
What attack are you?
Whatever.
Cool, so... And this was something that we had talked about before. You can use a regular attack as a bonus action. So if you want, and I'm assuming, yeah, because that's what you just said, roll a d20.
Okay, so I rolled a 6.
That doesn't hit.
Plus
Plus 5.
So it's 11.
11. He has not only armor, but he is completely scaled up. Like, you've never seen a Dragonborn before, you've heard of them before. You underestimated how tough his hide is. So you take a stab at him and it just glances off the side. It's not very effective. You still have movement if you want to move to get away, but they or he or whoever wants to do an attack will get an opportunity attack on you. If not, you'll just skip on, move on to the next person.
Alright, I'm not gonna shy away from a fight, so...
Alright, well, it's my turn.
It is your turn.
Alright, I'm going to hit with my quarterstaff.
Who are you hitting? Because he just punched you in the face.
I know that was a mistake.
It's a mistake. He's just incompetent.
But I'm going to hit her with the quarterstaff. So,
Okay.
8 plus 4, so 12.
No,
No
nothing.
hit.
That's funny.
Or you're all just really impressive. You take a swing at her after, like, her blade kind of glances off his hide, and she just ducks it like it's nothing. Like it's something out of the Matrix.
With your sways. You're drunkenly swaying on your feet. And you're getting
I'm going to.
These guys are drinking too. I'm just saying.
I've had 1 beer.
They could be out of
Actually, I never made it into the bar.
It's true. You made it into the doorway.
I opened
How many
the door.
ales have you had? Because that is a
I
good
only
point.
had the 1 free one.
Just the one that was given you. You're just nursing it.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. You were the only one actively purchasing alcohol, pint after pint after pint.
It was only.
You also really have to go to the bathroom. You realize in this moment.
I'm gonna swing at her.
Eight
I also
seconds.
just remembered I have 2 attacks per action, which I forgot last time. I didn't realize.
You now remember.
So I'm gonna try to. Well, the first one. Was
You were
just
still
a-
going easy.
Yeah, it was just an opportunity thing.
I should have used it 1 second.
Feel free to yell
So-
out any obscenities or things that you
I
want
am
while you're
going
watching this
to-
happen. Because you're here.
Oh, I mean, they're fighting right like.
They're fighting right in front of you. They just went from throwing tomatoes at you to fighting.
Help! Help! Help!
I am
Help!
Shut up.
Shut up.
The guard just walks over to you and smacks you across the face. You don't take any damage, but he looks over at you guys as well, and he's like, "What are you doing?" You're still in the middle of your action, so you're still doing your attack.
I'm gonna unarmed strike. I'm gonna hit her again.
Still unarmed.
Help!
Yeah.
Help!
Ooh.
I thought you were gonna say like clever shit. I didn't realize it was just gonna.
I'm going to yell to the guard saying, that orc stole his shit!
I don't know.
What's your honor?
I gotta take a shit!
Hey, Druid, I can fight you over here.
See his armor class.
Oh, 13.
Hey, Dragonborn, you want to come over here, big guy?
Alright, I'm gonna try to punch her again. Nat 20.
Natural 20. Roll for damage.
Woo!
Roll
So what do I do? It's an unarmed strike, so it does 5
5,
damage,
10
so
points of damage.
10 points of damage.
You
Alright.
sock her.
You're hitting a girl!
I swing and she dodges
So
it,
you're
and I
at
just
13
uppercut as
Yep.
she dodges.
So it's one of those cases where you're throwing like a hook, she ducks, but as she's ducking, you're throwing up an uppercut. So your head is going down right into his fist. You can hear your nose, it cracks, and you feel like this just blood run down your
You
face.
hit a girl!
Seriously.
You take 10 points of damage. Technically, Nova was next.
Oh man.
Was that so? At this point, you held your action for the first time. They're punching each other back and forth. There was a blade that was pulled. He socked her hard in the face.
Okay.
What's the guard doing?
Yeah, he's about to step in.
So I'm just going to try to break it up.
You're gonna aim between the two of them.
Yes, I believe I'm taller than one of them. I'm
Not me.
5'5".
Not me.
I don't think you're taller than I. You're pretty big orc, right? Half orc.
Yeah, I think I'm
They're
like
both-
5'8" or something.
Okay,
They
I
both
give off,
dwarf you.
like,
I'm 6'7".
I give off a divine like sense.
I'm
that
7'5".
almost makes sense, I guess. And you guys
Okay.
kind of like back
Who-
off anyway.
Which one? So you're trying to get in between the two of them, and at that same time, Captain Zira, who is essentially here at this time. So it's important to note, like, a round of combat is only 6 seconds, and this was essentially like a 12-second interaction between the two of you. You get in between the two of them at the same time. Zira, who had just finished essentially like manacling you, and he was still kind of sitting around at the time. He walks in as well. Whoa, what's going on?
She pickpocketed me, and I was
Help!
fighting her off after.
Shut up. If I hear another word from you, you're dead.
Oh, I have to-
Say it. Another word. Give him back his shit.
Okay,
I already did. I pickpocketed it, and
She gave you back your shit?
Yeah,
because
she's
it
a
was.
pickpocket. She's a criminal.
So she gave you back your
So
shit?
you don't justice, yeah.
You staying somewhere?
Yeah, I'm staying at the end right here.
You're not anymore.
Oh.
Get your shit. Get out.
Wait, get out where?
Out of
Out of town.
Okay. And then I'm gonna pickpocket the guard.
Love it.
I was gonna say, so you don't have to leave. Like, you can try to stealth. You can hide somewhere. You're going. He's essentially allowing you to go back to your room. He's not following you up there. He's allowing you to go back to your room, get whatever shit you've left up there, which I don't think you've visited yet. So you can do whatever you want still.
Basically,
But
like when you tell someone
This is
without a
like
fishing
the
license that
first
they have
day.
to leave the park. And
they don't have to leave.
walk away.
I'm gonna stealth, and then I'm gonna pickpocket all three of them.
You'll record with me, so you're
We're
safe.
watching you.
Yes,
Stop.
yes. So
I'm gonna go into the tavern. I'm gonna stealth, then I'm gonna sneak back.
there is a
out.
back door to the tavern. So you're going through the tavern, going out the back door,
Yep.
stealthing back around to try to steal stuff.
Yep.
I'm gonna come back to you next turn. Are we good here? She's gone.
We're good.
Not fighting
Sorry about
anymore?
that, sir.
If I see any more out of either of you, you're done.
Understood.
Understood. Sorry, sir.
Nova, you're fine. No more.
No more.
And I kind of motion you back, and I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so
Let's head back to the inn.
you guys are heading back to the inn?
Let's head back to the inn. You owe me a beer.
You guys start heading back to the inn. You're walking into the front of the inn as you're going out the back of the inn. Zira's kind of turning back around. He's looking back at Cypher. And there's some other guards like coming up behind him. They look pissed. Because you just killed, like, you're a cop killer, essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
What are you doing here?
So I haven't rest, right? I can't use missy stuff.
No,
Change to a pulse.
you cannot.
All right, then I'm gonna use.
And there's no Fourth Amendment shit here. Fourth or Fifth, there's no Miranda rights being read.
I'm gonna take my chances and try to escape.
Oh my god.
Am I roped down?
So imagine, like the pole looks like one of these.
Uh huh.
You have manacles behind your back. Your hands are real close,
I know.
tied together. Same with your
So
feet.
light out.
You are essentially leaning forward
7:30.
with a rope going, essentially splitting the difference between the chain that's between your arms and your legs, and then the chain is going out to the post. Not a rope, a chain.
So it's gonna be hard to escape.
Yes.
You made it hard for me. No, I'll play safe. Can I use Cure Wounds?
You restored 8 points of health, which that's pretty solid. And like he can see this, he sees the magical aura coming off of you, and he just kind of scoffs, looks back at his underlings. Essentially, he's the captain. We'll come back to him after dark.
So, since I just used magic, and
Oh, expel that spell slot, by the way. There's a little box, you just gotta hit it.
Cure Wounds, spell slot, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so can I use another spell?
You can technically when it comes up after 6 seconds, but at this time, you are coming up behind the guards.
I will help you.
Go ahead, roll me. You're still drunk, because it's only been like 30 minutes.
I'm fine.
Roll me sleight of hand with disadvantage.
Help me help you. So,
15 was my low roll.
What's your with all of them there, the difficulty class to beat is 18.
Sleight of hand, I have 5, so 20.
Oh my
No,
god.
thank you, I'm good. Wait, can I have an M&M?
Is there I'm gonna allow you to pick one guard
Okay, that's
out of the group of them. Because there's like at this point there's like 5 of them there.
The one who tried to kick me out.
So this is Zira. This is the captain of the guard.
I was gonna kick his
That
ass.
bastard.
Yeah, so you pickpocket him. You find a handful of things. You find a note, like a handwritten note. It's folded up several times. You find it's like a hand-drawn picture, but it's very poorly done. Like maybe a child had done it. That says something to the effect of me, mommy, and daddy, like all holding hands. And you also find 50 gold.
Okay.
My God, you're getting rich.
She's just stealing from everybody in this place.
That me. Do it for me.
And what are you doing immediately after?
I'm gonna head back into the tavern.
You're
and-
stealthing back, I'm assuming.
Yeah, stealth.
Roll me a stealth check now.
Alright.
So sleight of hand was to steal the shit, stealth is to
So
get
wait,
back
I
in one
got
piece.
50 gold. Should I make a note that I took the child's drawing?
It's up to you. If you want to use it for role-playing purposes later on.
Alright.
Probably is.
For the record, all of your gear, when you were arrested, was taken from you and is currently in a chest, maybe like 15 feet
So,
from
I gotta
the
roll.
extent of where you can pull your chain to. So it's out of your range by 15
What
feet.
is your fun?
It's like kind of on like near one of the tents.
Okay.
So I can ask one of these guys to get my stuff.
You could technically, but there's guards nearby, so they would just say
I got
no.
19.
What time is it?
19 still.
It's
in game 2:30. Yeah, it's been 30 minutes since
Oh
you guys
my
have arrived.
god! I thought I killed a guy like an hour ago.
You successfully are able to find yourself back inside of the inn. No one sees you. Actually end up going into the inn after these two go in. No, but what are you doing?
I'm standing with the guard as a witness. Can I do that?
Yeah. So I mean, they're guards you're familiar with. They don't consider you a civilian. You overhear the interaction between the guards and Cypher, and basically them saying, "We're going to come back and get you after dark."
No.
I bought him a beer, and I
Okay.
bought myself a beer.
You guys are in the inn.
Oh, yeah,
With Tixia? She goes into the inn after you guys. You don't see her because her stealth was so high. She goes right up to her room. While you're the only one who overhears this, Nova. Cypher, you hear this as well. Zira is talking to the other guards. We need to double our guard presence. If we're getting attacked this early in the day, just to be safe, we should put some extra guards on the gates, on the doors, put some more at the tower just in case. Sorry, boys, we're not getting a whole lot of sleep tonight.
I say fuck.
And there's a very heavy guard presence around you as well.
Fuck.
I'm gonna start heading toward the gates. Back gates.
You're going to the back gate?
Yep.
Okay. And at this point, it's now maybe 2:45. Again, you see there's a couple guards there. You can kind of gauge, basing on your approach, they have not heard yet that you are to be kicked out. Like, that order has not spread around the other guards. It's only been 10, 15 minutes. Zira has other things to deal with at this time. You notice at this back gate, unlike the one in the front, it is barred shut. There is a beam. It's a lot smaller. It's more like a door than an actual gate. There is a beam spread across, like almost halving it. And it looks like that beam would be preventing it from opening or closing. Go ahead and roll me a perception check as well.
Alright, 15.
The way that the path that you kind of took in order to get to this back gate, off to your left-hand side is the tower, where all the action had just occurred like 30 minutes prior. And off to your right-hand side is more of the rentable tents. That, for the most part, are now set up, and you see people are now kind of going into them or renting them out. But further off, kind of right back behind the inn, you notice a dumpster where there's like extra refuse and things that are being chucked. It's fairly large. There's actually 2 of them with a little bit of a gap in between.
I'm gonna call Zero a bitch.
Shut up, prisoner. Again. Fucking test me.
Hey guard, what time is it?
Zira comes up from behind you, and you can't see him. Like, you can kind of maneuver yourself around a little bit, but you just suddenly feel this pain coming from the tips of your fingers. The edges of your vision become red and then black. You fight the urge to pass out.
OMG.
A second passes.
Can I pass out, actually?
Do you want to?
I'll rest.
No,
That's not considered.
That's not considered a rest. And normally this is something I would have you take damage for, but since you're so low, I'm not going to do it. Moment passes. There's this excruciating pain. Zira comes back around, holding your pinky,
Oh my god!
and he says, "Speak again." You kill one of us. Speak again. And he just tosses it into the melted snow and mud. He looks over at his guards and he's like, "Tell me if he speaks again."
Auto roll, which pinky?
Your left.
Alright, I don't need it.
He walks off. But now there's still 4 other guards that are there on you. So you're kind of walking toward that back gate. Is there anything that you do at this point?
Scoping out the area.
Okay.
Deciding where I'm gonna sleep that night. Figuring out my plan for later on in the evening.
So you're walking around. A little bit of time passes. You catch sight of Zira looking around, and like talking to other guards. So it seems like all of the guards, or at least most of the guards at this point, are aware of you getting kicked out. They've gotten your description, so just keep that in mind, and you witness this occurring. Hours pass, and dusk descends on the small village. For those of you inside of the inn, as well as you, because you're kind of around the building there, commotion startles the rhythm of the town. Yelling, cheering, it's chaotic but not immediately concerning. Several of the patrons within the inn share knowing glances with one another, and then they hurry outside. And from where you are, you see several people scurry out from the inside of their tents and start making their way toward kind of the area between where the structured tents were, where the order was staying, and where the market was. You two actually get a good view of what's going on, but we're gonna...
Can you free me? Oh, I can't tell.
Erase
that.
that.
I'll be dead.
I'll take another finger.
I run outside.
I was almost following me.
I'm gonna sneak over to where they are, but I'm still gonna kind of be creeping about. No
Okay,
one
roll
notices me.
a stealth check. You're kind of wrapping around the inn. You're kind of staying close to the wall there, just kind of peering around.
It's funny that perception check. It says beware of
No,
I'm
you guys are all going to see this regardless.
23.
23? Oh yeah, nobody sees you. They're all, completely transfixed on what's happening. As you two make it out of the inn and you come around kind of the side of the inn, looking around the edge there, a hush goes through the crowd, arresting the momentary chaos of before. Some people are still whispering back and forth, but even that abruptly ends as a loud, commanding voice booms across the town. You guys get a very good view of this because you're kind of seeing it from the back because they're facing the crowd.
We're also very tall, so do we get a good view or no?
You
Like,
do.
I'm
Yeah, you're
7'5".
both fairly tall. So yeah, you get, everyone else in this area, we're talking mostly dwarves, humans, so yeah, you're seeing clear everyone. You guys get a real good view of this. You hear Zira yell out, "Quiet during the rehearsal. Glorithane needs to focus." And you guys see, right after he says that, a fat slug of a man emerge from the largest tent and eye the crowd with an elitist stare, as if he's better than all of you. Slowly, he lumbers his way to the front of a carefully designed procession of Order initiates. You're not a part of this, Nova, because your shift has ended, but like a bunch of people you're familiar with are in this group. And Glorithane comes out. He's like balding on the head. He's wearing the same robes as everyone else, but they look a lot fancier than everybody else's.
Okay.
And the booming voice, you just hear, "Centuries ago, gods and devils from the higher and lower planes waged a great war here, torn most of the world asunder. When it had ended, everything was thrown out of equilibrium. Though all the greater gods have returned to their home planes, some of the lesser ones remain behind. Gods like Zirdak, the Frigid Doom. Zirdak once had full dominion over this land. All was thrown into perpetual ice and shadow. But then came Balcazar." And various order members quietly repeat the name behind him. Balcazar, Balcazar, Balcazar.
Balcazar.
A guard kind of gives you a side eye, but then just looks back. "A devout follower of the new faith, the brave paladin and his power of the sun led the charge against the Frigid Doom. All involved perished, including Balcazar himself. Again, you hear the chant, Balcazar, Balcazar, Balcazar.
Balcazar.
What remained was a single gauntlet of a fallen hero. And he points to the tip of the tower. It is still burning bright to this day. In his final moments, on the ground where that mighty tower now stands, the cunning and wise leader tricked the false god. No one knows the exact words that were spoken, but this land has ever since been changed. No longer are we forced to toil in endless winter. No longer is our suffering without reward. Roughly every 10 years, the snow gives way to 10 years of sunshine. It is now, at this festival of renewal, with spring on the horizon, we give thanks." You all of a sudden just hear, like, just pots and pans clanging to the ground, and there's Jeff standing there. the Jeff you know, little dorky Jeff. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't mean to interrupt. And everyone just... And Zira, and his face is kind of red. He's angry. He's embarrassed. He points to a couple of the guards who usher Jeff away into a nearby tent. And he looks back at the crowd that is now gathering. Go back inside. We have much to do before the festival. And slowly the crowd begins to disperse. Glorithane, that fat slug who was doing all that speaking, just kind of looks angry at everybody, especially at the tent that Jeff is now inside of. And he just waits and stares across the crowd, waiting for you all to leave.
Oh, are we supposed to fight him?
Just walk out and punch him? No, they just went out to do this. They were working on the rehearsal for the festival that was going to be this big religious ceremony they were doing, and Jeff kind of fucked up the whole thing, so they're trying to get there.
Fight Jeff?
Fuck you, Jeff.
I turn towards Tonya.
Yeah.
And I say, well, that was speech. You want to go grab another beer?
Sounds good to me.
Buy me one.
Back to the tavern.
I kind of scold Jeff.
You follow into the tent?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Okay. So Jeff is in there. He's tearing up a little bit. I'm really sorry, guys. There was just so many pots. People keep handing me pots. I don't know why. I was just standing there, when everyone got finished eating, and they just kept putting pots in my hands, and I didn't know why. You guys see, as you're kind of starting to head back in, you see Kieran, the bartender Kieran, not the greeter Kieran, standing in the doorway. Alright, lads, let's go back in and grab a drink. And he kind of looks out over to the crowd, and he's like, let's grab a drink, everybody.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I have one?
Just put his last drink.
I'm gonna die anyway.
You don't see the guard who did it. But again, you feel this sharp pain in your hand. You're gonna go unconscious. You're not gonna be dead, but you're gonna pass out. No. As another finger is taken from you. Still your left hand. Your second one from your pinky, so your ring finger on your left hand.
Alright, I'm gonna sneak up and steal the guard's keys and free him. Alright, I might fail.
Well, he's passed out, so you gotta carry him.
Yes, he is now passed out. The crowd, for the most part, the crowd is moving into the inn to grab drinks. Despite how weird like that whole interaction was with that rehearsal outside, everyone still seems to be in pretty good spirits, especially with the thought of there being fresh alcohol on the horizon. But some of them still, like, they kind of go off to their tents. They're not really interested, especially the ones that are really religious because they don't really partake in any of that stuff. They go back into their tents. Roll me a stealth check. At this point, too, it's been a couple hours, so, like, a lot of that alcohol is metabolized, so no disadvantage or anything.
17.
17.
I got a lot of stealth.
You creep past everything. They're all going back. They're all doing their own thing. At this point, the sun's starting to set, so it's getting a little bit darker. And it's setting also behind the mountains, behind where this town is. So the mountains themselves are casting these very long shadows across town. You successfully walk over. I'm going to have you roll a sleight of hand as well. This stealth was kind of a combination of getting to the guard and getting to him, but sleight of hand is going to be how successful you get these keys away from this guard.
16.
She's badass.
She is. So, this guard does not notice a thing. At this point, he's kind of looking back toward, like, his attention is kind of split between the inn where a lot of the people are going into and the tent where Jeff is currently being reprimanded. And you can hear, like muffled shouting and things. No strikes or anything, but you hear, like, some yelling. You do. You successfully take these keys and you grab them in such a way that prevents them from, like, jingling when you take them. And the guard does not. He's none the wiser. So you walk over to behind where Cypher is, and you just very quietly start working at these locks. And there's a handful of keys, so it takes you like a couple to get to the correct one. But eventually, you want to do both locks, and he just slumps forward because he's unconscious. No guards have noticed at this point, but it's just a matter of time.
I'm just gonna reposition him back so that no one realizes he's free.
Until he wakes up.
And then I'm gonna wait for him to wake up because I'm not dragging his fat ass around.
And unfortunately, it's going to take you a couple hours. No food, no water. You're in poor conditions. So,
in the meantime, I'll go get him some supplements to help nourish him for when he wakes up.
You're laying back on top of your manacles, so no one would know that they're undone. And we'll get back to you two in a moment. Meanwhile, at the bar, you two are there, and Kieran says, it's customary that we do a drinking game 2 days before the festival. For the early ones, the people who get here early. The ones who get here early on time early. I'm sorry, I've had a few myself. It's been a long day. And you see a couple...
Game?
What's that?
What's this game?
Well, it's a drinking game. You drink until no one else is conscious.
Sounds like a good game.
If you fall, if you puke, disqualified.
Easy.
Well,
It's fun.
disqualified.
Is the beer free?
The buy-in is 1 gold. But it's unlimited drinks. Until you pass out, that is.
Man, that's ridiculous. It's 10 copper a drink.
Yeah, but I got 100 gold, so actually I got 101 gold.
You use his 1 gold. One of his golds.
I'm in.
Not very financially savvy.
Okay, so a couple other people come in. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll take care of that. And you get like a fair group amount of people. And essentially what you're doing is drink-offs. So it's like 1v1, 1v1. You're drinking until the other person is down. They pull a bunch of the tables that are there in this room into these long rows where there's chairs on opposite side where you're sitting across from the person that you're drinking against. Like you sit down, you're sitting against like this very, like a stout-looking dwarf. He looks older. You can see like in the etchings in his face where like these wrinkles have kind of receded into his face over time. So he's old. He's drank a lot. And you sit down next to this thin, wiry guy. He kind of looks like a human, but you really can't tell. His head is completely shaved. Like, he looks kind of odd, and he kind of, like, gives you, like, this weird little stare. But, yeah, they grab their drinks, and they're ready to hammer. So, I want you guys, I'm going to need a D20.
and you guys are going to roll a d20 as well. We're rolling for Constitution. Yeah?
Part of this.
Okay, make sure you mark it off at some point that it's the 1 gold buy-in. Just take that off. Not a big deal.
You said Constitution
oh.
we're adding?
Yes, it is. And you sit across from this lumbering oaf of a man. It looks like he's part giant or somewhere up in his lineage he's giant. This guy is huge. It looks like he could definitely throw down a couple. Yeah, you're not really a fan of him, but there's so many people here you barely even see him. You're kind of focused on your own thing. You don't really see him either. It's a long row. You guys are like off to the end. She's kind of more toward the center.
Awesome.
So we're going to go with you first.
12.
2. There's a +3 modifier that I'm adding on there. You completely drink this old dwarf under the table. His bravado got to be too much to him, I guess. And in his age, he just gets sleepy, and he's just like, I'm going up to bed. And he kind of stumbles up, falls down one of the stairs, and a couple people have to carry him up to where his room is. We're going on to you, where you're against like this lanky kind of dude.
4.
Oh, 16. This guy actually had a -1 modifier. But that's still a 15. So you guys are going like, you're like pounding them down. You get like 3, 4, 5 different shots down. You get incredibly sick. And ultimately you turn around and just projectile vomit onto the floor at your feet. And the whole crowd is just like, oh my god, that's disgusting. On to you. Rolling Constitution.
So I rolled an 18,
+2.
20.
So this big giant who's sitting across from you, he when he sits down, he's like, you're a puny thing. And he gets like half a drink in, and he's like, oh no. And like a moment passes, and he's just like, oh no. This is bad ale. It's bad ale. And he kind of like backs out of the door. And he's just done. You barely even have to get through your drink. He just takes a couple sips, and yeah. The crowd starts to thin down as each pair of people gets narrowed. I'm gonna say you two are going against each other, so roll contested.
Constitution again.
Yes, yep, same deal. And guy that you were against, that lanky guy was going against a Goliath woman.
There's another Goliath.
And they both rolled a 14, so they're just going pint for pint. They don't care. Another 14.
So that's
And a
2.
5. And eventually that lanky guy, for one reason or another, he keeps going. He's got like alien blood or something. I don't know.
It's always the skinny ones.
Yeah, so that's the one you gotta look out for. So what did you two roll?
I got a 9.
I got one.
Both a 9? Roll again.
Is that Corona?
I got a 14.
It's probably Corona.
14? Oh man. Yeah, you guys are slamming it down. There's like a crowd gathering around you now.
Oh, you have
10.
16.
Ooh,
I would've-
finally, you succumb to the alcohol. It's too much. It's less that you just drink yourself under the table and more you just really gotta pee. You just
Yeah,
want this to be over.
gotta
You've been
pee.
drinking for too long. You're not trying to show off to anybody. You, on the other hand, you want everyone to know how awesome you are. So you're just
You're a guy.
drinking that shit down.
I need the confidence booster.
And as you finish, Kieran kind of raises your hand in front of the whole crowd. Aye, we have ourselves a winner. Give a round of applause. And the whole crowd, those who are conscious enough. Yeah, congrats.
Yeah.
And so with that, the rest of you, with all this alcohol in your system, you slowly find your way back to your rooms or your tents or wherever you're staying, and you just let the alcohol take you. You're falling asleep. You're going into Z-land. You two. After a little bit of more time, you start to return to consciousness. It's you have like this throbbing headache, and it comes to you in fits and starts where you're kind of waking up, you're kind of going out of it, you're coming back up. Finally, like, you're able to gather your bearings. Holy shit, 2 of your fingers are missing. Ouch. But oddly enough, your hands are free. You're still sitting where you were before. You're still laying where you were before. But there's nothing tethering you to where you are. Your gear is still off in this chest. You're shivering because you've been unconscious. And it looks like a couple of the guards are in your general vicinity, but no one's looking at you directly.
I have stuff.
Okay.
I have stuff. I'm going to use Pass Without Trace.
Okay, I'm going to allow it.
Awesome.
You have a +10 for all your stealth rolls.
I'm escaping this damn village.
You're leaving the village.
I'm leaving this village.
Okay.
I'm taking my stuff and leaving.
Sounds
Wait,
good.
in this chest is also everything I had is in there?
Everything except essentially for your underwear.
Okay, so
And maybe a very thin layer of clothing. that
okay,
you're
I'm taking everything in there because there's a bag of rations.
So you walk up to the chest.
I'm taking some stuff.
You're taking the whole chest.
I'm
Picking it up.
Pulling inside my chest.
The chest is locked.
This is not.
Otherwise, anyone they have had reports of pickpockets in the area. They know people are stealing shit.
How big is it? How heavy is this chest?
And it's got all of your gear in it. The chest itself, it's hardwood. It's heavy. You could probably carry it, but you're going to be disadvantaged with what you have.
Even stuff?
Yes.
Even though it's
Especially stealth. Even with the yeah. He's like Snake in the Metal Gear Solid games,
Basically,
where
yeah.
he'll just set it down and hide behind it.
like this much. Damn, why can't you just pickpocket that one? Where's she at?
Where did you go after freeing him?
I went into a back alley and I met with a strange man about
That sounds like
about getting a new cloak.
You walk into a back alley. There's no one there. I have to decide if there's things happening. I talk to a man, he gives me a sword. I get +20 with every hit. So you go into that back alley. You hear like the back door like opening and closing, but it just appears to be Kieran like carrying garbage out to the dumpsters in the back behind the inn.
Okay. Does Kira know that I'm wanted?
Yes.
Oh,
Because
well,
the
shit.
guards would have gone to him first to let them know, hey, we're kicking so-and-so out. Are they staying at a room? That room is now available if someone else wants to take it. You're kind of hanging out around that area. I mean, it's kind of tucked away from the rest of the village. And there's not a whole lot of people, like, there's no reason for them to go back that way. So, and that gives you a pretty good view into, like, the regimented camp where he was waking up. So, that is where she is. But you don't see her. You have no idea.
I don't see her.
You have no idea.
She's
But
on
you
this-
could
on
be
this
watching
weekend.
this.
She sees me. I can't see her.
Yes.
Pretty malnourished.
Yes. And you're at 1 HP.
And I'm missing 2 fingers.
And you're missing 2 fingers.
I'm going to look for Jeff.
Which you would know, and Jeff is a healer because he took over the tent. So yeah, you watched the whole thing happen. I think that was before you had lost consciousness, so
Yeah.
you have an idea as to what tent Jeff is in.
I'm looking for Jeff.
You go around the back side of the tent. The tents they're thick and they're heavy, but you're able to basically find your way into his tent. It's not locked or anything. And he's alone by himself. At this point, a little bit of time has passed since his reprimand. And he's just sitting like cross-legged on like a bear pelt or like his bedroll.
Does he know who I am?
He doesn't see you at this point.
Does he know who I am? What I've done?
I didn't even notice.
Is he ignorant?
Yeah, no, he'd have an idea. But he's sitting there just
No, the upstairs.
No, that one is because the
just crying into his hands, sobbing uncontrollably. It's been a rough day for Jeff.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, okay.
Excuse
I
me,
know,
sir.
Maybe there was a secret passage.
What are you doing
But I didn't
here?
want to ask.
I came looking for you. I mean you no harm.
Finds Jeff.
What do you want?
I want a favor.
Are you gonna kill me?
That's
I
a
will not
really
kill
nice
you.
house.
I am defenseless.
You killed Frank.
I'm not gonna kill you.
What do you want from me?
I know you're a healer. And as you can see, I'm missing 2 fingers.
I can't grow those back.
Okay. Can you give me prosthetic arms? Fingers.
I don't know what those are.
Okay, do you have any food and any clothing for me to borrow?
Roll for persuasion. You know what? Are you trying to persuade him, or are you like intimidating him?
I'll tell you which one has more.
That's a good point.
Normally, I would say the RP leading into that would determine, but it could go either way because you just murdered a person and you're
Damn.
holding a heavy chest in your hands.
Dave, be honest. I beg.
Huh?
I beg him.
Please.
Please. I'm cold.
This is all
It's
right.
winter.
Yeah, do
I don't
persuasion.
know.
Persuasion is -1.
Roll.
4
Minus
-3.
1.
-1.
He looks up and no. No, I'm putting my foot down. I'm not doing anything for you.
Listen, Jeff.
And he's standing up now because he was cross-legged before.
Listen, Jeff. I mean you no harm. I just want to leave this village. Can you please give me some clothes?
You're a murderer. I'm not going to do anything for you.
And I'm not going to murder you because obviously I'm defenseless and I'm hungry and I'm missing 2 fingers.
He like looks around for a second and like grabs a whole bunch of stuff, pulls out this little like it's like an embarrassing looking blade, and he's just, you might be defenseless, but I'm not.
I leave.
You just turn around and walk away.
I'm not doing this.
Sign me out.
Look at this acting.
You didn't help me. You did not help me at all. The other person who helped me doesn't even want to look for me.
We're going to say for the sake of things, and because I need to wrap things up,
Okay.
a little bit more time passes. We're going to say that over the course of that whole encounter, like you ultimately trying to locate Jeff, you trying to find a good place to hide, you guys are all asleep at this point. It rolls 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Hours pass. Oddly enough, Jeff does not try to find any guards after you leave. He just stays in his tent. Over that time, too, so the reason why hours pass without you doing anything, you walk up to the gate, you realize, shit, the gate is closed. They closed the gate at dusk. There's no way out of this village. You're stuck here. So you spend the next couple hours just trying to find a place to hide and potentially get into this chest. It's getting later. It's getting later and later. 10 o'clock. 10:30. 11 o'clock.
Gates, I'm positioning myself for when midnight hits by the back gates.
Okay, so you hide out maybe in the dumpsters.
Yeah, maybe I'm by the dumpsters.
So it's getting close now. 11:30, 11:45. It's midnight. The guards are changing shifts. You see Zira, the quartermaster. He's calling over a couple of the guards. You see, like, he's calling them over to the regimented area. At this point, they've realized that Cypher is missing. They're looking around, but they don't seem to be looking in this immediate area, at least right this moment.
It's midnight?
It's like minutes from midnight.
Alright, I'm getting ready to lift the bar on the back door and cast it aside.
Stealth check to get over there. And then a strength check.
17 plus 8.
Okay, you successfully stealth over there.
20.
Nat 20.
20.
What's up?
Natural 20.
I rolled a 20.
This is a heavy beam, but the adrenaline is going. It's been a long day. You pick that thing up, you throw it aside, and as you throw it aside, you feel like you hear a noise on the other side of the door.
I'm gonna sneak away.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna sneak away.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna leave I'm gonna go back to the dumpsters.
Okay, go ahead and roll me one final stealth.
Is my tent marked?
So you're just gonna leave your door unlocked?
You have like a little plus.
I rolled a 12, that gives me 20.
Nah, okay, 20. You were able to, you think you have a pretty good idea, like, you throw some of this trash onto you, and you're, like, getting between the bags, and, like, all this rotting, disgusting meat, you're getting in between it. And right as you get situated, there's, like, a pause, and there's this silence, this eerie silence that just cuts straight through this entire town. Another moment passes, and then you hear the back gate burst open. You begin to hear people screaming, crying, you can hear just arrows whizzing through the air, and around you on that palisade, because there's walkways along the top of the palisade, you can hear doof, doof, where arrows are hitting, impacting something. Then you hear people falling, and then silence, just bodies hitting the ground on top of the palisade. You hear people come in through the back door. From what you can kind of see, like through the trash, you see flaming arrows shooting across town towards various tents, towards buildings. And you see the bulk of whatever force this is making its way very quickly toward the tower. And that is where we're going to end tonight. Because
All right.
I don't have, we don't have time.
It's not my fault.
You left the door unbarred.
Well, for the next one, I'm not going to be so damn hasty.